Hey, what's up, guys? Dr. Nathan Thompson here, author of Transformation 28, creator of the T28 Challenge. And today I want to talk about how to save hours every single week doing a very specific type of exercise. Now, this may have caught your attention because, listen, aren't we always looking for the easy thing? Aren't we always looking for the newfangled idea or the latest craze? And I'm going to talk to you today about something that actually works, but it also saves you hours a week. Yesterday, I talked about how people say they don't have time to exercise. Part of the problem is that a lot of people think that to get into shape means that you have to spend hours and hours and hours at the gym. One of my mentors said something that was really interesting, because when we want to change, we want results right away. But I want you to think about it. A lot of people don't start because they think of the investment that they have to make. So they never start. And a year goes by. And, as I get older, I realize, gosh, how quickly time actually goes. Like a year ago, just something seemed like it was a day. And the thing is if you just spent a little bit of time on the things that you want to change, just a little bit of time every single day, in a year, you would be so much further. But the problem is that you don't want to spend a ton of time to get fast results. So a year from now, you're actually not better than what you were. You're actually worse. So this is how you write a book, or this is how you get into shape, or this is how you literally do anything, is that if you would just spend a little bit of time every single day on these priorities that you have, in a year, you can do unbelievable things. So listen, I want to go over today how you can save hours every week doing this very specific type of exercise. But also, I want to go over with you a type of exercise that actually promotes cellulite. So I can go over all the great benefits of this exercise I'm going to go over with you. But the thing that actually perks up people's ears the most, or I'll say ladies, right, is the idea of certain types of exercise actually can promote the deposition of cellulite. But I'll show you actually why that is. So let's, I want to show you this picture right here, because guys, if you look at, you guys see anything wrong with this picture? So if you see anything wrong with this picture, just type something in the comments. This is called 24-hour fitness. And I had to look really hard for this because I saw this picture about 9 or 10 years ago. But, this is the people that's taking the escalator to go up to work out and probably do a machine that's going to stimulate or simulate the stairs. So it's a little bit of a paradox here, taking the escalator to go into a gym to do a machine that simulates stairs. So, but this is the problem, right? So number one, when you look at exercise and things like that, I always choose the harder version in my everyday life. So I'm always choosing, hey, walk as far as possible when I'm in a parking lot. Take the stairs, don't take the elevator when it's possible. The thing is that we actually avoid movement throughout our everyday life, and then we go to the gym to simulate all the things that we're actually avoiding in our everyday life. So you can see it doesn't make, obviously, a whole lot of sense. So let me ask you the question, because, as you get into New Year's and you get into, people having new goals, New Year's resolutions, whatever it might be. And, by the way, I see there's so many people who post, kind of negative stuff about people who have New Year's resolutions. And here's the reality. A lot of people don't follow through with it. And but the thing is that there are people who do change their life. And if you're one of those people out there, I want to tell you this. I believe in you, and we're not going to make fun of you. Make sense? The problem, the reason why people don't stick to New Year's resolutions is that they need help. They need guidance. They need someone to help them with the practical application of how to accomplish their goals. And so, the problem is not that people sometimes, it's not that they don't know what to do. It's actually, they just don't know how to put it into an application, from an application standpoint. So when I ask people, they say, well, I need to get into shape. All right. And I asked them this question. I said, well, what is shape? Like, what do you mean in shape? What do you mean, what do you mean by fitness? And so a lot of times people will say, well, I need to get in shape, which means I need to go do some machines and do the adductor machine or do, some kind of weird motions, and then, 45 minutes of doing some kind of weight training, and then, 30 minutes of cardio, and then usually a lot of skipping of leg day. So there's great kinds of fitness, and then there's not so good kinds of fitness. Now, listen, full disclosure, I actually think if you're doing something, then good on you. But if you're going to do something, you might as well actually do the best, correct? So the whole idea, like with fitness should actually is this. This is what a definition of fitness. I actually have borrowed this from CrossFit. Okay. So here's the best definition of fitness. It's your ability to do work across broad time and different movement domains. So here's what I mean by that. So it's your ability to be able to do work, and work is actually moving an object over a certain distance. And then intensity is the ability to move that object a certain distance in the shortest amount of time possible, how long it actually takes you. So for example, if you are going to go on the treadmill, the best type of fitness would be the ability of be able to run that 2 miles in the shortest amount of time possible. Now, but it's not only just about running. When we say broad movement domains, we mean this. So it's your ability to be able to run, absolutely. It's your ability to be able to go up the stairs, absolutely. It's your ability to do the elliptical. I don't know, because that really only simulates like lunar running. Like, so unless you plan on running on the moon, you really don't need a whole heck of a lot of elliptical. But it's also this. It's your ability to squat. It's your ability to press. It's your ability to pick things up off the floor. It's your ability to be able to go up on your hands and do a handstand. It's your ability to do a somersault. It's the ability of you to be able to hang from a bar for 3 or 4 minutes. It's the ability of you to be able to get out of bed. And so that's what fitness is the ability of you to be able to do these movements and be able to be as strong as possible, as flexible as possible, to be able to do these movements. So fitness isn't just running in place on a treadmill, or a dreadmill, as I call it, for long periods of time. That's not what actually fitness is. Fitness should make you better at everyday life. So what are some good examples of things that you can do that are going to improve your fitness? Things like running, swimming, jumping rope, rowing, biking, doing squatting, doing Olympic lifting, kettlebells, dumbbells, doing gymnastics movements like push-ups or sit-ups, handstands, pull-ups, doing like ring work, that you see in gymnastics. Well, I'm not there yet, Dr. Nate. Of course you're not, but you're always working towards that end. So, well-rounded fitness should give you not only better cardiovascular endurance, like on the treadmill maybe, but it should also help to improve all these other domains, things like strength, flexibility, power, speed, coordination, agility, balance, accuracy. Guys, you know what the leading cause of death in people over 80 years of age in the elderly? It's from falls and balance issues. So the problem is, as we get older, we because we're so inactive, we see our balance, our ability to squat, our ability to get off a toilet, and rather than actually attack those weaknesses and regain the ability to do it, we actually just stop doing it. And then you see it continues to get worse. If you don't have good balance, it's your fault. It's not because you're getting older. It's because you're losing your nerve system doesn't actually, your peripheral nerve system doesn't communicate anymore back to the brain to actually build balance. So if you have well-rounded fitness, you should have things like better hormone function. You should have stronger muscles, more muscle mass, less fat, improved energy, improved sleep. You should have better mobility, and you should also have a stronger mental framework. So what is fitness? It's exactly that. Fitness, here's what fitness is not. Fitness is not fitness whole pizza in my mouth, all right? That's just a terrible joke. So if that's what fitness is, if that's a great definition of fitness is, then like, what's the best way to accomplish that fitness? The ability to perform work over broad time and movement domains. Well, a lot of times, like I said, that people think you need to do what's known as long duration, moderate intensity exercise. Do it on the treadmill, do it on, go out and walk, or go out and do the elliptical stairmaster, whatever it might be, that we have to do that at a very moderate intensity. And listen, there is a benefit to actually doing that. But the problem is that type of exercise over a period of time, if you really think about it, part of the domains of fitness is to have increased strength, speed, explosiveness, constantly doing long duration exercise is going to absolutely destroy that. So if you think about the marathon runner actually needs to be as light as possible. So when they get as light as possible, because they're training their body to run long distances, the body doesn't need muscle. So it will become as efficient as possible to the way in which you exercise. So some of the drawbacks of doing this long duration, steady state exercise all the time is that it can actually elevate a hormone in the body known as cortisol. And I talk about cortisol a lot in the book Transformation 28, because cortisol is a stress hormone that's great when a bear is chasing you or in a crisis, an acute crisis, but it's not so good when it's in this long chronic stage of having chronic cortisol, because it starts to mess with other things inside of the body. This is why stress, they say that mental stress affects the body, and it 100% absolutely does. So it affects this thing is called cortisol. And actually, a research article said that one of the reasons why when women particularly have cellulite on the butts and the hips and the thighs is actually because of elevated cortisol. So it's kind of a tough thing that, women say, hey, I want the cellulite to go away, but they're actually do the exercise that actually is contributing to it, and they're not seeing actual results. So like, how do you get all the benefits of exercise, maintain this high level of fitness without having any of the drawbacks or have any of the negative things when it comes to exercise? Well, what it comes down to is this, is like, what is the best type of exercise? That's a terrible picture of cellulite. I apologize for that, okay? So the best type of exercise is going to be what's known as high intensity, short duration, functional exercise. High intensity, short duration, and functional. So done at a really high intensity for no more than maybe 3 up to 20 minutes. And functional means things that you do in everyday life. Here's a really cool thing about high intensity functional exercise, because this is not something that has been researched over the last 5 or 6 years. This is something that's actually has been researched over the last 2 decades. So listen to this. High intensity exercise achieves superior fat loss compared to moderate steady state exercise. Research article number 2, there's a greater increase in fat expenditure after high intensity exercise due to the release of human growth hormone, so greater fat expenditure. There is a significant loss in body fat in a group that exercised at a high intensity, which is around 80 to 90% of your maximal heart rate, while no significant change in body fat was found in a lower intensity group at 60 to 70%, despite performing the same amount of work. Like, go back and listen to that again, because here's what this means. This means that some people say, well, I did 7 miles today and I walked it. Is there a benefit to doing that? Yes. Is there a maximal benefit to doing it? No, because there's a difference between how quickly you get that work done. So basically think this, there's a difference between walking a mile and sprinting a mile. Sprinting a mile has a greater fat loss benefit than actually walking for a mile. Now, the other thing is high intensity exercise is superior for reversing the symptoms of metabolic syndrome known as pre-diabetes. So if you want to, metabolic syndrome is when you see your waist, I believe it's over 38 or 39 inches in circumference for men, when you see elevated blood pressure, triglycerides, cholesterol. This means that you are on your way to type 2 diabetes. And listen, they say now that by 2040, I believe 1 in 3 to 1 in 2 people will have type 2 diabetes. And diabetes is an injury. It's not an illness. So I had a patient who actually came to me last night, and his friend actually started doing intermittent fasting. So I told him, hey, if he has some issues with insulin sensitivity, why don't you try intermittent fasting and then start incorporating these types of foods. And within 4 weeks, his doctor's ready to take him off of his medication. So it proves that it's not genetic. It proves that it's not some kind of illness that you are struck down with because you're getting older. It's an injury. And the way to overcome an injury is to remove the things that are injuring it. So this is actually why today, this morning, in fact, if you go to, if you see, I'll post a video really soon, you'll actually see that I went to the hospital today, not because I'm sick, but because I went and got some blood work done. So I ordered myself some blood work, and I did some lab work to do food sensitivity testing. So this food sensitivity testing, I actually want to see the things that my immune system reacts to make myself more inflamed. So it's just that because I want to cause the least amount of stress, bad stress actually on my body. So so how you get to that mile, or how you get to doing 100 deadlifts, is how quickly it happens. That has the greatest hormonal response. So this is why high intensity short duration exercise is the best. But here's the great thing, is it takes way less time, but it's way more painful. Okay. So this is the difference between, like when I work out, it may only take 10 or 15 minutes. Now, factor in a warm up, factor in the workout, factor in a cool down. I may be there for 30 minutes, but it's way less time than doing the hour of weights, walking to the drinking fountain 29 times, telling myself off 17 times, checking my phone 14 times, and literally getting nothing done in that hour, and then doing very moderate exercise. So when it comes to exercise, what matters most is the amount of work you perform in the shortest amount of time. This equals intensity, and intensity is actually what yields results. So what are these different kind of functional exercises that are going to help you? Well, obviously running is one of them. How about this? Sprinting. Well, you don't understand. I don't sprint anymore. Well, you may not be able to sprint right now, but you have to be working towards that goal of that actually happening. How about squatting? How about Olympic lifting? How about doing things like deadlifting? How about doing exercises that require a lot of flexibility? This is called an overhead squat. This requires a lot of flexibility. And just because you can't do it now doesn't mean you shouldn't be working towards it. Because again, your fitness should actually give you muscles. It should lower fat. It should increase flexibility. It should do all of these other things. But last time I checked, running only, I see a lot of people come in that did a lot of running, and their flexibility is actually horrible. So running. What about jumping or jumping rope? What about doing box jumps? What about walking on your hands? Oh, I can't walk on my hands. And let me tell you something, I can't either. I don't know if I'm super excited about the idea of walking on my hands because I'm a larger type man, but it doesn't mean that you stop working towards that goal. So all of these different things, when you combine them together, this is going to make great fitness. Now mix these elements up in as many combinations as possible, and then do a workout that is going to take 10 or 15 minutes and do it at as high intensity as possible. Now you should do this. Should you do this every single day? Nope. I think that you should start at 3-4 days a week tops, and then moving towards the idea of doing this for 4 to 5 times per week. And then as you start to get better, you'll need to get into doing weight training and things like that. But this is an actual great place to start. This was a really awesome article that came out about 7 months ago. And it said functional high intensity training improves insulin resistance and cardiometabolic risk factors in type 2 diabetes. So they had these individuals, they did 6 weeks of CrossFit, just 3 times per week. That's it. Each workout consisted of 8 to 20 minutes of exercise. That was it. And they found at the end of the 6 weeks, it significantly reduced fat mass, blood pressure, blood triglycerides, and cholesterol, and blood sugar. Now, in 6 weeks, these individuals, they spent 360 minutes of exercising out of a possible 8,640 minutes that were in the 6 weeks. So literally a fraction of their day was spent exercising. Yet they had all these unbelievable, amazing benefits. So guys, if you thought about it, like when people say, I don't have the time to exercise, think about it. You do, because literally if it was only 60 minutes 3 times a week, do you guys spend 3 hours a week on Facebook? If you're watching this right now, then yes, you are. But this is good. This is building you up versus watching mindless cat memes, okay? So just think about it. An hour, 3 times a week is really all you need as far as helping to prevent and reverse all of these risk factors associated with type 2 diabetes and heart disease, things like that. So guys, this is 100% worth it. Now, if you need a place to start, where do I start? A great place to start, and this is where one of the reasons behind doing the T28 challenge is that there's so many people who they don't know where to start. And they have these New Year's resolutions and they start them off and they just walk into the gym and they're lost. Or maybe they hire a personal trainer and it's $1,000 for a whole entire month. I think it should be cheaper than that. So, hey, listen, if you have a little bit of advancement in fitness, I want to give you a free book. So this is actually a book that we use. These are like 4 years or so of different T28 challenge workouts that we've done. We put them together and we have like 72 different workouts that we've done, and I want to give them to you. So all you have to do is you text T28 workouts to the number 44222, and then just enter your email address. Your phone will ask you to enter your email address. We'll text you back, and then we'll give you this free book. So 72 different workouts, and like you literally could do this 3 times a week. And this book would be the only book that you would need to work out in order to be able to accomplish all those other things that I actually described. And it would repeat the workouts twice. That's it. So this is a great resource for you, and I'm going to give it to you obviously for free. So guys, make sure you text in for that and enjoy the book. Now, our next T28 challenge is coming up just a couple of days. I'm excited about this. January 19th in the Yorkville location at CrossFit Exemplified Yorkville. Also in Morris, CrossFit Exemplified Morris. I know that the staff is really hard. We're doing our interviews. And so when we do our no sweat consultation, this is an opportunity for us to actually get to know you, answer your questions, and make sure that we're a good fit for each other. I'm going to tell you something. The T28 challenge, it works. We have literally thousands of clinical results with people, but I tell you, it's not a quick fix. It is only a start into a brand new life, and it's hard. But listen, you don't want it easy, because easy doesn't make you better here. So guys, I'll leave the links in the comments. If you have a question, leave a question in the comments below, and we will see you guys very soon. Be well.